All right, legends, hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Let's do some technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. And as per the title, can we trust this Sunday pump? Because I know a lot of people will say, do you ever trust a weekend pump? Okay, but at the end of the day, you need to respect the trend, and for the moment, the trend is up. And for the moment, a little bit of a bullish sign, legends, is when you get acceptance back inside of a range, you usually get the deviation at the bottom, and then you go back to the top. Okay, you get the deviation at the top, and you go back to the bottom or the point of control where the most amount of volume was traded. So can we go and smack $120,000 here on the price of Bitcoin? Only time will tell. There's a couple of scenarios that I would like to share, and also two trades that I'm currently in at them. Well, actually a little bit more. I opened up a couple of swing trades, couple meaning two. I opened up two swing trades on two altcoins and on Bitcoin. So let's see if that plays out. And that was a trade that I highlighted inside of the Legends Pro community on Friday. Still in that trade at the moment. Okay, still in this trade at the moment. I already took TP1 for this trade. Okay, TP1 has been taken. I will explain why I took this trade on Bluffin. Okay, guys. Also, if you'd like to come and trade with me for the best deals and lowest trading fees, links are always down in the description. I've got 3 exchanges, Bluffin, BTCC, where you can trade commodities as well, and weeks. Also your way to support the channel, and it costs you nothing extra. In fact, you only gain by using the links down in the description. Okay, future competitions as well. So now let's analyze the price of Bitcoin. And now I did decide to open up a small little hedge against this long. But let's see. Yeah, a rejection. I told the pro community this morning, if we're going to reject, if price is going to fall and it's going to reverse and we're going to crash to the downside and reverse the Sunday pump, it needs to do it over here. That's where it needs to do it, because there's nothing there. Okay, guys, there's no price action, consolidation areas, there's no order blocks, there's no weekly levels, there's no daily, there's nothing. Okay, if price is going to crack this level, it's going to smash it properly until you hit resistance, proper resistance to the upside. So if price wants to reject, it needs to do it now. Okay, maybe a double top, triple top. We'll analyze that situation in a moment. Remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. Let me just move myself ever so slightly. Okay, now I'm in the right spot. Let me make myself a little bit smaller. Okay, there we go. Let's start with the magic here on the price of Bitcoin. I will go through the comments in a moment, but I do see you guys popping in. Awesome music. Morning, everyone. Good morning, Dewald from Brazil. Welcome. Stefan, always appreciate your support. Let's go. Yes, let's get the party on the road. Right, so legends, the first bullish sign that I want to highlight, and for the pro members, they know that I started switching a little bit more bullish on Friday, because yes, we were still expecting that another 4 or 5 to the downside, and I will go through that. But I was starting to lean a little bit more bullish, okay? Because there's some bullish signs as well. Bullish CVD building up, potential for a double 1-2 to the upside. On most of the perpetual exchanges, we have this little wick that has not been filled, where we made a higher low, but on let me just zoom out a little bit over here. Okay, on Coinbase chart, well, we have created a successful 5-wave structure here to the downside. And something that I pointed out, okay, on Saturday to the Legends Pro community. Guys, if you want to join the Legends Pro community, where I drop this alpha first before I share it on YouTube, where you also get direct access to myself, Andy, and the coaches. Okay, it's the link here down in the description. Under the exchanges, you've got Bluffin, Weeks, and BTCC, and then you've got the Legends Pro community. That's where you join. Okay, so What happened on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, is I did a little bit of a channeling exercise over here. And channeling in Elliott wave theory is not something that I've often discussed here on the channel, but inside of my trading course, I do go into a lot more detail from a channeling perspective. But just to keep it simple, when you connect your 1 and your 2, okay, you create this little channel. Okay, you create this little channel. In Elliott wave theory, it states that it's absolutely normal for your wave 3 to break, or you want it to break out of the channel. Your wave 3 needs to break out of the channel. And then your wave 4 gets acceptance back inside the channel, but it should ideally not tap the top of the channel. So yes, I can label this as a 1, a 2, nice little 3 that broke out of the channel. The fourth wave came back, did not get acceptance, did not tap the top of the channel, and then we created a fifth wave that also is outside of the channel. And then this is where I saw the danger, because we were still expecting a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. We wanted that one more low. But then when I saw this, and even this little wick, I was like, okay, well, this now starts changing the probabilities, because it's very uncommon for a double 1, 2 and your fourth waves to break out of the channel. Very uncommon. It's not an invalidation, but it does impact the probabilities. Okay, and this is what I highlighted on Saturday. Guys, I'm not feeling the bearishness anymore. I'm not feeling this anymore because of this. I'm looking for longing opportunities. And on Friday, actually, I opened up a swing, small little low leverage swing position here to the upside. Okay. And that was basically, if I go here onto the 1 hour time frame, just to share with everyone, why am I entering the trades? Okay. Well, first off is we had a break. Do I still have that trend? No. Okay. Let's just keep it simple. First off is we broke trend. Okay. So I told the legends in my update on Friday, I told them I'm not feeling the long, because usually, okay, and this is where I got a little bit hesitant. Usually when I see a fake out and price gets acceptance back below, it usually claims the low again. But then we closed multiple candles again outside of the trend. And then I saw the potential for a 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's just building up 1, 2s. And with every single retracement to the downside, there was local bullish CVD. And I told the legends, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to enter. My stop will go below this low, and I'm targeting the high. But I will take profits to the upside, of which we've just hit my TP1 area, where I took a little bit off the table. And I've also now de-risked myself, and I moved my stop loss. So currently still in this little long position. Okay, is it this one? Okay, there we go. I'm still in this long position. Not the greatest entry, and this is why I told the legends I'm going in with a small position size. Already took profits, de-risked myself, okay, because there's a chance that it could still roll back down. And at least I want to get stopped out with profits. Okay, so even if I'm wrong, how little can I lose? And even if I'm wrong, can I still make money even if I'm wrong? So this is, risk management comes first for me at the moment. Right. So that was the trade that I took on Friday. You guys just want to do something here quick? Okay. I'm in the long too, Dewald. Nico, yes, because you are inside of the Legends Pro community. And when I shared the trade this morning, is anyone in that long? Not a lot of people responded. I think there was still a lot of fear. We're still going to make one more low. We still have that double 1, 2 combo that could potentially still create another fifth wave to the downside. But, at the end of the day, and this is the beauty about a trading strategy, is that you do not care what the sentiment is. You just apply your strategy. You have a D-line strategy. You have multiple candles closes above the trend. You know where to put your stop loss. You know where to take profits. So all you do is you become robotic about your trade. You just say, let me execute the trade according to my rules. Okay, I'm being over dramatic over here. But that's literally what I did. Okay, and I now already took profits, and obviously I will take profits when we hit the value area high. Maybe there's some resistance inside of this. I will go through the levels that we could potentially still get a rejection and fall to the downside. Okay, so that was the trade. Let me just hide this little trend line over here. We got acceptance back inside the value area range, which is great. And now on the Binance or most perpetual charts, okay, we have this and we have a higher low. Okay, and the easiest way for me to analyze the charts is to ignore this wick and do my technical analysis on Coinbase or the CME chart. Okay, the CME chart I don't like too much to do from a technical perspective, but it's the one that looks the cleanest, even from an altcoin perspective. When I look at the Coinbase charts on some of the altcoins, the technical analysis just looks way better. It balances better than looking at some of the perpetual charts. Yeah, it's absolutely horrific. Nothing makes sense when I look at those charts. So now what I'm looking at from a bearish case perspective, okay, this structure, legends, we now need to analyze this little structure. Okay, so let's zoom in. There is one way that you can look at the structure as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expanding structure. I am not looking at the structure as an expanding structure. I know that there are some Ellioticians that will look at this and say it is valid. I'm saying from my experience and my rules, I am not looking at an expanding structure because it has two things that counts against it. The fact that it's expanding is already rare, and the fact that it made this low before the 0.382 from a timing perspective is now another rarity that builds up upon the other rarity. Okay, so it's like two no-nos in one scenario over here. So I am not looking at the structure as a expanding structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correction, off we go. Okay, I would rather give a double 1-2 combo from a bullish perspective. Okay, now we have our bullish hats on. I should actually change my background. Do I have a green background here? Let me see. Yeah, it's not a pretty one. Anyways, I think when I talk about bullish case scenarios, I should maybe change my background to green. And when I talk about bearish case scenarios, I should change it to red so that everyone knows, okay, Dewald's now covering the bullish case scenarios. He's now covering the bearish case scenarios. Right, so from a, let me just put the music a little bit softer here in the background because I know I'm going to get comments after the fact. Yeah, well, the music is too loud. It's so irritating. Okay, there you go. I've put it softer. Right. From a bullish case perspective, the only scenario that I will consider from a bullish case perspective is nested 1-2s. Because in actual fact, they carry higher probability than diagonals. Okay, so it's a 1-2, it's a 1-2, and now we are building a third wave here to the upside. So you have a double 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and now you're building a third wave to the upside, after which you want to still see 4-5, 4-5 here to the upside. So from a bullish case perspective, that is the scenario that I favor, because expanding structure, like I've mentioned to everyone, is not pretty. Okay, I mean, purely from a timing perspective, guys, regardless of what structure it was, as soon as I see this, when I take a time fib from the low to the high of the structure, and I see a low made before the 0.382, okay, I cannot count the structure as a bullish structure. But a double 1-2 works. 1-2, 1-2. That works way better. Because we all know what happens, okay, when you make a low after the minimum requirement, we all know what happens, okay, because we've been talking about that for months. If I go onto the 8-hour time frame, okay, and we look at this little structure, and this is something that I've spoken about many times in the live streams as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, you have your contracting diagonal. This low was made, guess what? Before the 0.382. Where's that high? There we go. Okay. And then we started pumping ballistically here to the upside. But it wasn't time yet. Can you guys see why I love to use time as part of my analysis? It was not time. And now we made fresh lows after the minimum requirement. So now it looks way better. Okay. Let me go back here onto the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so now for the bulls, you actually want this to be the low. Okay, and it needs to start building impulsive structures to the upside. The only way that the structure looks impulsive to me is a 1 2 1 2. Inside of this one, okay, you have a long corrective structure, which is perfectly fine, and then you have a 1, okay, 1 2 3 4 5. You can count 5 waves inside of this structure, and then you have an A B C flat. You took the high, you took the low, so you basically have a flat structure inside of your second wave 1. And now with potentially you're building up 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. It could be a nested 1 2s that's building up here, and the more 1 2s you get, the higher the explosion to the upside. Okay, and then you're basically going to end it up with 4 5 4 5 4 5 4 5, and then eventually it starts rolling back down. Okay, so that's the scenario for the bulls. Okay, now we have to talk about the bearish case scenario as well. Okay, guys, for me, that's the only solid bullish case scenario that I see here at the moment. Price could potentially continue here to the upside. And let's talk about the bearish case scenario. Okay, from a bearish case perspective, well, this is the structure that I'm looking at. Okay, you have a 3-wave structure in a W, you have a flat in a X, and now you're completing the Y wave, where you have a larger 3-wave structure, and we're still going to come and take the low. Because after a corrective 3-wave structure, you expect the low to be taken again. Okay, but I'm not expecting this rejection to create a 5th wave to the downside. So in this scenario, let me explain. Okay, remember guys, we were talking about a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4. I'm not labeling this a 4 and a 5 anymore. Okay, I'm labeling this as the end of the structure. 1 2 3 4 5. Corrective structure, and then you absolutely smash to the downside. This is now the danger of this corrective structure, is that this corrective structure could theoretically, okay, let me try and make it a little bit cleaner. Let me just take this parallel channel out over here. There we go. Okay, when you have 5 waves to the downside, which ended, and you have a corrective structure to the upside. So this could be either an A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we start the bear market. Okay, that's how bad it can get. Like this thing could absolutely tank here to the downside, still make a 4 and still make a 5. Okay, so from a bearish case perspective, I'm seeing this correction as correcting, this potential correction as correcting this impulse. Correction, continuation. Is it going to be an A, B, C, or is it going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? If it's an A, B, C, it's still bullish. Okay, you expect price to go back up and take the highs, which I do think have higher probability. If it's going to create a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, this retracement is my exit strategy. It's as simple as that. Okay, if I see a 5-wave structure down, the 3-wave retracement is my exit strategy. Yeah, that's actually spooky. It is. Okay. Unfortunately, the one thing I have to highlight to everyone is a good technical analyst will always have a bearish and a bullish case scenario. If you're following someone on YouTube that's only bullish or only bearish, I think you need to start following someone else, because the structures are always designed in such a way where there's a bullish count and there's a bearish count. When you are in a long, you also know from a bearish perspective where to start taking profits. And when you're on a short, from a bullish perspective, you also know where to start taking profits. And for me, that's the beauty about the structures. Okay, a good technical analyst will always show you a bullish and a bearish scenario, at least one of each, Okay, so on the Coinbase chart, guys, when you have 5 waves down and you have the potential for a corrective structure to the upside, there's always a chance that you are going to smack back down. So from a bullish perspective, the simplest way for the bulls to remain and stay in control, firstly, you need to maintain this uptrend. Okay, the uptrend should stay intact. And as long as the momentum stays intact, the bulls have a chance, but you don't want to change market structure. Local market structure should not be changed. So I'm keeping a keen eye on the local market structure. Okay, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low. You know what happened. Okay, lower high, and you create the final low. Now price is making higher high, higher high, higher high. This structure needs to maintain bullishness, for lack of a better word. So if price comes back down, I don't want that low to be claimed. But ideally, I do not want that low to be claimed. Because if price is going to come back down and it starts changing local market structure like it does this, and it comes back up for a retest, and it took the low, it did this. It took the low, it's starting to change local market structure, and there's a good chance after this retracement that we're going to tank back to the downside. So I'm keeping a keen eye here on the local market structure to see, well, are the bulls in control, or are they going to lose control and we're going to smack back down to the downside? Okay, unfortunately, when I take a fib from the high of the structure to the low of the structure, okay, the level is still very far away, but I need the bulls to claim $123,000, 461. We need to come and tap this 8-8, because once we claim this level, it significantly reduces the probabilities that you are forming a 1, a 2, okay, and you're going to smack down in a third wave. Unfortunately, the zone is very big at the moment where you want your second wave to top out. Okay, so first level that I will be watching is the 0.88, but your second wave can reject anywhere inside of this zone. Ideally, the maximum target is the 786, which has underbelly resistance with this little consolidation area. So for the bears, this is where you need to reject. For the bulls, you need to claim this level at least. Ideally, you just want to claim the high and invalidate it completely. But I mean, that level is still very far away. Okay, right. As per my high time frame analysis, for those of you that watched my previous video that I uploaded, I am still leaning bullish. Okay, regardless of what happens in the short term. Let me just zoom out a little bit over here. It's taking a while to load up today. Okay, so when I look at the structure that still needs to load up, here we go. Okay, when I look at the structure, based on the previous update that I did, the probabilities are still higher that we're going to claim the high again, regardless of what happens here. If it wants to form an A, B, C, and then continue, so we take the lows again, perfectly fine. You still have a higher low. Market structure still intact. The trend is your friend till the very end, and continuation can still be expected to the upside. Where I will get a little bit concerned, okay, this is where my concern will start coming in, guys. When you start a bear market to the downside, okay, let's clean up this chart over here. If you're going to start a bear market to the downside, you have to start it with a 5-wave structure. So if price rejects in the zone without claiming the high, and it falls, and it recovers, and it falls again, well, now you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which now potentially is your first leg for the bear market. You then have a 3-wave structure up in a wave 2, and then you continue the bear market to the downside. Okay, so depending on what I see, I will either activate my exit strategy, or if price creates a three-wave structure to the downside and it starts claiming these pivots again, it starts recovering. No exit strategy for me yet. Okay, so price needs to show me the way, because someone also posted a comment, Dewald, a couple of months ago or a year ago, you said you're going to exit all your positions in August because the 4-year theory cycle is coming to an end, the end of October, which is now. Well, I'm allowed to change my mind as a technical trader based on the structure that I see in front of me. Okay, because I can tell you now, okay, let's go here onto the 8-hour time frame. Oh, every time I change time frames, it just freezes. Okay, sorry about that, legends. Just waiting for it to load up. Okay, based on the local structure when we made this high, based on all of this, the probabilities were higher. We're going to claim the high again. And we've correctly identified it using Elliott wave theory. When we made these highs, okay, we correctly identified we're going to take those highs again. Even when everyone was selling, guys, I remember messages from people over here, even on Twitter or X, people selling all of their holdings, just sold. I'm out. I've sold everything when we had this little dip here to the downside. Okay, that's the fear that it created. But we knew, okay, the probabilities were higher regardless of how deep it went. As long as you maintain this low, you are still going to claim that high again. And we went into Elliott wave theory. We counted the corrective structures, and we could not count a successful impulsive wave to the downside where you come up and you continue. Okay, so what needs to happen now is that, and this is now where it gets a little bit confusing, guys, because on the Coinbase chart, we have a 5-wave structure down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could have a 3-wave up and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3-wave up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you complete a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. So on the Coinbase chart, we have a beautiful 5-wave structure. But on most of the other charts, we don't. We have a 3-wave structure. So depending on which chart you use to do your analysis, you would say, well, this is a 3-wave structure to the downside. A 3-wave, sorry, let me do this again. You have a 3-wave structure to the downside. You did not take the low. So based on what's happening here, the probabilities are higher to claim that high. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, and we are, I think we already invalidated the 4th wave, because I know there's some people that's going to then say, well, Dewald, what if this is a 1, 2, 3, all of this is 4, and we're still going back down for a 5th wave? Okay, then I need to take a fib from number 2 to the low. Okay, we already invalidated the 4th wave. Okay, we tapped the 0.618. So this cannot be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You invalidated a 4th wave. Not allowed to tap the 0.618. It had to reject here. There, that's where it had to reject. Okay, this little rejection, it needed to come up, make a lower high, and continue. It didn't. So the bulls, for the moment, actually have control. Right. Remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. Let me go through some comments. Easy stuff. Yes, it's very easy. Dewald, have you watched the American sitcom Boy Meets World, Blazing Fury? No, I haven't. Why? Well, why do you ask that question? No, I don't think I have. Okay. The thing which gives the most hopian is the fact that the last move up was a 3-waver. Yes, there's also, Jack, you're also hitting the nail on the head. Okay, very rare to end a bull market with a 3-wave structure. If price did this and we fell, I would have said, Mr. Robinson, danger, danger, danger. There's shit in town at the moment. Okay, if we rejected and we did this, I would have said there's danger, because then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is how we have ended every single bull market in a 5-wave structure. Okay, there's only one way you can end a bullish structure with a three-wave structure, and that is an ending diagonal. And I've gone through the higher time frame analysis, and I showed everyone why this ending diagonal in a three-wave structure carries low probability. Okay, so we did not do this. So, you know, looking at the three-wave structure, looking at this three-wave structure where we made a higher low, the probabilities are still higher that we're going to claim that high. And and I know there's a lot of people that's posted comments inside of my live stream and after the fact telling me that, Dewald, you truly are smoking your socks. We are inside of a bear market, because this is what happens. It creates fear. Okay. The market is designed to play with your emotions. And if you believe that we are going into a bear market when we made this low, well, you need more information before you can make that decision. And for the moment, we are starting to invalidate the bearish structures for the moment. Okay, so from a simplicity perspective, let's go on to the Coinbase chart. Let's just summarize the bullish and the bearish case scenarios. Okay, so now let's go to the 1 hour. Okay, at least this one loads faster. Okay, so from a bullish perspective, okay, you want 1 2 1 2 1 2. You want the structure to continue without breaking local market structure. You want the trend to continue to the upside. Okay, and ideally you want the 0.88 to be tapped. I know that that is still very far away, okay, but the trading opportunity was on Friday when we broke the trend. Okay, we got in, well, I got in, had my stop loss below the low. At the moment in profits, I've de-risked myself, okay. I've now placed my stop loss below this low over here because I don't want structure to change. Okay, I've already taken profits at the highs. For those of you that says, Dewald, you got stopped out, I've already taken profits at the highs over here, and I'm leaving majority of the position open for higher levels. Okay, and I'm basically just executing my trading strategy. I did not go in heavy with this position. It is a small position. I think I'm only, let me check here, I'm only what, about $4,000 in profit. It wasn't a big position for me. You know, usually when I go in aggressive, I would have been at 20K, 30K profit at the moment. So I went in very light with this position. But when I see strength to the upside, I can tell you guys now, if I see continued strength here to the upside, especially if we hit the 0.88 or with some pullbacks and bullish CVD, I will add to that position. But I want to be strategic with adding to that position because I don't want to add too aggressively and then get stopped out and price still continues in the direction that I wanted it to. So I need to be very strategic with that position. So I will add, not now, a little bit later. I need to see a little bit more strength to the upside. Okay, there was a couple of other things I wanted to talk about as well. Okay, maybe before I get to that, let me go through some more comments. Mr. Goldstar, hey, welcome in the house. Alicia, is this the case we are in complacency, then sentiment-wise? Yeah, I think we could be in denial even. Okay, I need to overlay it, but I think, you know, a lot of people are in. I think a lot of people are still fearful because of this. I think there's a lot of people too scared to jump back into the markets because of this. Okay. Right. So this could be disbelief. Is it really going to, you know, the disbelief, is it really going to take that high? And I think only once it takes the high are people going to be like, okay. Okay. But now it's going to create a new set of fear rules. Okay, shit, I should have bought, yeah. Now we took the high, which was the highest probability to take the high, okay? But now what if we retrace back again? Okay, now I'm going to be underwater again. So once we take the high, it will give the bulls confirmation that we could potentially move higher. But it's also going to create fear in terms of, shit, I should have had a position already. Because now I'm facing a possibility where we could SFP the highs. Okay, and fall back down. And maybe that will be my buying opportunity. But what if it just continues? Okay, it could also just continue to the upside. It's also the reason why I entered this long. It's also the reason I entered this long is because I don't want to I don't want to see this to the upside and then only decide to open up a long opportunity. I want to be positioned already. I want to have a protected position. If we create a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 and maybe we do come back down for a correction, that's where I want to add. Play the breakout and continuation to the upside. Okay. Ideally, I would like to see the 5-wave structure complete before we take the high, but I don't always get what I want as a trader. Okay, so something I wanted to talk about, and I keep on forgetting in the live streams, is the range low and the range high. Okay, in actual fact, okay, can you guys see this? You have a range high strategy playing out over here for the moment. Okay, you want to see a tap and go. You want to see a tap and a rejection to the downside. So what I wanted to show over here is because I had a lot of comments for this range low that we had over here, and I kept on forgetting to talk about it, okay? We had the massive pump here with volume. We had nice volume with the pump. You make the first low, you create your range low, and then we tapped it to perfection. And I call this strategy the tap and go. And yes, we did get upwards momentum, and that's why you need to pay yourself when you start hitting resistance. There was a point of control where we got rejected. And then as soon as you tap that level for the second time, you fill the inefficiency, which we did. Okay, so I just quickly wanted to do a recap there because this also happened on ETH, because someone asked me, Dewald, can this range low also play out on ETH? And we went and we had a look at Ethereum as well. Okay, do I still have it? Yes, here we go. Let's go here onto the 15-minute. Right. This is where ETH was. Do you guys remember? I just wanted to quickly go and show everyone that the probability for the strategy actually played out is that ETH pumped with a lot of volume. It chopped through this level. And then in that stream, what I said, guys, because you tap this level multiple times, you increase the probabilities of filling the inefficiency and not claim the high. And that's exactly what happened. Okay, it actually went down a lot further. So now I can finally delete these levels from my chart because I left them there because I still wanted to do a quick little recap on the strategy. So now I can take it out. Finally I can take this out. And the reason I also wanted to discuss it today is because this is now exactly what happened here. Okay. You have an absolute dump to the downside with high volume. This is the first high that you've made and you got continuation to the downside. So this is now your range high strategy. So for the bears, you want a tap and a go. It needs to fall. Okay. And this is why I entered a short. It's just a head short against my long. That's all it is. Head short against my long. So if it falls and I get stopped out of my long, I'm still making money to the downside. Now that is how you play proper hedging. Okay. If price, so now this is now the probabilities. If price is going to continue here and it starts chopping at these levels, even with a retracement, you increase the probabilities of filling the inefficiency. So it's either going to fall, and I'm in that short at the moment, or it's going to chop around this area, and even then with a retracement or without a retracement, it's going to fill this inefficiency. Okay, this is why I took profits from my long over here and also entered a short. Because remember, if you're in a long position and you're taking profits, well, those become shorting opportunities and vice versa. Right, let's go through some more comments. Everyone is waiting for a dump. The opposite generally happens. Yes, Linda, and I think, you know, yesterday when I also saw the sentiment, we started pumping into a Sunday, and everyone knows, oh God, if you have a Sunday pump, you are going to reverse that Sunday pump. And now price is just continuing continuously with bullish CVD. So this is something that I was keeping an eye on over the weekend. Okay, every single dip. Okay, let me show you on the 15-minute time frame. I showed this to the pro community this morning as well. Okay, this is where you need to start changing your tune because the market is telling you something. Okay, let me make this green to show the bullishness. Right, so yeah, you had, oops, I need to use the straight line. There was bullish CVD, okay? bullish CVD, right? You guys can see the bullish CVD. Target is the high. You claim the high. But with every dip, can you guys see price pumps? And then with that dip, you create more bullish CVD. Price makes another dip, it creates more bullish CVD. Price creates another dip, it creates more bullish CVD. It pumps to the upside, makes another dip, bullish CVD. So shorts are continuously being absorbed by bigger players, by market makers. Every single dip has so far caused bullish CVD. So the shorts are being absorbed every single time. And when I continuously see bullish CVD in an uptrend, okay, well, now you can't just be bearish, guys. You can't be bearish when you continuously see bullish CVD while price is pumping to the upside, or you continuously see bearish CVD when price is falling to the downside. Okay, so continuous bullish CVD. So what's now interesting to me is that I saw some. Yeah. So this was the first bearish sign that I saw this morning. Okay. Can you guys see the pivot? And those two pivots, we made bearish CVD. I was like, okay, that's why I entered the short. I saw I played the SFP, but that gave me confirmation. Okay, maybe we could continue a little bit further to the downside. But now this little pump, I want to see what is going to happen now. Okay, it's very neutral at the moment, but if CVD is going to spike up here and we create bearish CVD again, bearish CVD, okay, that one is still a little bit far away. Without taking the high, we could make another leg to the downside and maybe come and eat up the liquidity below these lows. But ideally, I don't want market structure to change. So I want this low to be protected. So even if we still fall down again, I still want to see price make a higher low and continuation to the upside. I want to see local structure intact. Okay, you have a low, you have a high. You have a higher low, you have a higher high. You have higher lows, you have a higher high. Okay, you have a higher high, I want to see a higher low. Maybe that's the low. Okay, but I want market structure to remain intact for me to give me confidence that price is going to continue to that upside. Right, so now let's see. Not enough likes, people. Come on, no likes. Let me see here on the stream. How many likes do we have? YouTube changed the wait, I can see it here, I think. Oh, 72 likes, and we have 181 people watching the stream. Well, definitely, I can tell you guys now that the like button is bearish, okay? Bitcoin might be bullish, but the like button is bearish. But for those of you that did hit the like, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. 2 swing positions that I opened is on ETH, okay? Just want to see which time frame is going to work the best over here. Let's go to the 4 hour. I don't have to spend a lot of time over here, legends, but there's a good chance that you have a WX, okay, and an A, B, C, D, E. You broke out of your little triangle in your Y wave. Not going to go into too much detail as long as you, okay, as long as this low at $3,000,719 is protected, there's a good chance you can go and claim the high. So I opened up in with this little breakout. Okay, I opened up a small little swing position or a trade. I don't even know if I want to call it a swing position, but I know it's going to take a couple of days to play out. It's not just going to happen in one day. So I'm calling it a swing position. So I played that little breakout on ETH. Right. Another one that I played was on, let me see if I have it here. Atom. I know it looks like an absolute mess. Okay, I know it looks like an absolute mess. I've just been tracking the momentums and stuff here. I just want to make sure that I am on the regular scale. Okay, so Atom is quite interesting. It is holding the downwards trend. Okay. Can you guys see this little trend over here? It's holding it. It's holding it. It keeps on tapping it. It doesn't break down from this trend. So that usually for me is a great buying opportunity. Okay, now I'm tracking this momentum. I'm tracking this momentum. And then on the smaller time frame, I saw a little bit of a breakout. Okay, this is the breakout that I played on Atom. Right, breakout. Nowhere to put my stop loss. I will definitely be taking profits on the way up. But this could also be a trade that's going to take a little while to play out. Okay, ideally what I would like to see for confirmation is Atom needs to take this high. I would love Atom to take the high and start changing market structure. Higher high, higher low, and continuation to the upside. So I've just opened up small positions, guys. I didn't go in crazy. Okay. And I'm using the Coinbase charts to do the analysis, because if you use the perpetual charts, that little wick to the downside is absolutely scary. So just applying my simple trading strategy, breakout, nowhere to put my stop loss. If I do get stopped out, okay, I will look for another trading opportunity. Maybe a nice little swing failure from these lows would be great. Ooh, that would be a great trade. But I mean, it could continue here, retest the trend and continue momentum to the upside. So just wanted to share with everyone the trades that I entered. And right, I think that's basically what I wanted to discuss. I will just see if there's not anything else that I'm missing. I've got some notes here that I made. Just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, bearish structure we have discussed. Okay, WXY. So let me just go through this WXY scenario, legends. Okay, we can't just be bullish. Okay, in a WXY, okay, you have a W, a flat in a X, and now you're creating your ABC. Okay, this could be your ABC here to the upside in a Y wave. Most commonly, okay, 1.23, 1.382, 1.236 is where it rejects. I was keeping an eye on the 1-to-1 extension. I didn't see the reaction that I liked over there, but I will definitely be keeping an eye on the 1.618 as well, because the 1.618 has confluence with this underbelly resistance over here. Okay, so if price wants to punch through here, definitely an area that I will be paying attention, because this could also be an ABC. Okay, it could be a three-wave structure, and we're going to absolutely smash here to the downside. Okay, so those are the shorting levels that I am watching to hedge against my long. Just want to make sure that's what I wanted to discuss. Just want to see anything else. Yeah, I think those are basically the scenarios, guys. Yeah, that's basically the scenarios that I wanted to discuss. Right, let's go through some more comments. Sell the news on China tariffs, feeling bullish. Dewald, do you have any thoughts on the BTC dominance? I actually have not checked that out in a while. Let's go check it out. Okay, Bitcoin dominance. Let's check that out. I know that someone highlighted in our pro community that it's losing trend. So let's go check that out. I renamed all my stuff here, so I just need to get used to the wording. Okay, let's see what is cooking here on BTCC dominance. Okay, we have lost this trend. Okay, that trend has been lost. We actually retested that trend to perfection. Okay, I'm here on the daily time frame. Guys, I must say, technical analysis on indicator charts, they're not easy. They're really not easy. You must rather look at zones, okay? But what I like to see is we did lose momentum. We came back for a retest. We did not get acceptance back inside the trend. So there's a good chance that price could start rolling back down, where you form your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. As long as price is trading below this trend, that is a good sign. Okay, so we could still see alts explode, okay, with a little bit of downwards momentum. It is quite common to fill at least 50% of this week. So if it wants to come up full, at least 50% of that week and then get momentum to the downside, great. But price still, well, dominance looks bearish, which is great for the altcoins, because this, okay, you all know what this means if price does this to the downside. That would be nice for some of the altcoins, okay, to get a little bit of a recovery push back to the upside. I want to see on the 4-hour this local trend that's forming, because I think this is the trend that people pointed out to me this morning. Yeah, it lost momentum, but it got acceptance back inside. Okay, so it's not a true breakdown at the moment, and that's why I say, guys, these indicator charts. Okay, you want to see price trade below, and you want to start changing structure. You need to lose that low. Okay, because at the moment you're still creating higher lows. Even though you've lost the trend, you still created a higher low, which means you can still eat up these highs. Okay, so if it wants to break down, it needs to break down and claim that low. Then it comes back up and it falls to the downside. Okay, so dominance could still be in the flavor of Bitcoin for the moment. Okay, also looks like it wants to break that little trend there. Okay, here to the upside, retest, continuation. Fill at least 50% of that wick. Now that's going to be interesting. We do have resistance inside of that box, but guys, resistance and support and stuff does not really hold weight inside of an indicator chart. There's no money that goes through this chart, guys. It's an indicator chart. So you see resistance, you're not really sure if it's resistance. Okay, the chart just does what it does. Okay, it just shows you where money is flowing into at the moment. Right. So for the moment, it still looks bullish. For the moment, you still have a higher low. And it needs to take this low before we can say, okay, now we're going to see a breakdown. Okay, you still get that and you break down, but it still has a higher low. Market structure is still intact, which means that, we could break this trend and continue momentum here to the upside. Maybe we reject there by the 50%, okay, and then we fall to the downside. But I still see money flowing into Bitcoin for the moment. Okay, we need to get the rally in Bitcoin anyways, guys. It's not a bad sign, okay, because if dominance goes up while Bitcoin is going up, it will pull the alts with it. What you would like to see is for Bitcoin to start, for Bitcoin to get the rally to the upside, let the money flow into Bitcoin and let Bitcoin consolidate at the top. So when Bitcoin does that at the top, once it's reached the top and it does this consolidation and dominance then starts to fall, that's when money flows into the altcoins. Okay. So for the moment, it still looks strong. Okay, dominance still looks strong. No wonder the altcoins are taking a little bit of a pullback here at the moment. Okay, so one scenario to be careful of, guys, is, let me use the Coinbase chart. I think it's going to be the best example. Okay, I don't want to be the perma bear or the perma bull. I'm just making you guys aware of the scenarios that could play out over here. So on the 1 hour time frame, looking at, oh, this is the wrong one. Looking at the Coinbase chart, okay, there is a 5-wave structure to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be a 3-wave corrective structure to the upside, and we could still take the low. That is the most bearish case scenario at the moment. Okay. Then a little bit slightly bullish is, this is a wave A. Hopefully this is a B. And we create a C. We stop and we continue with the bull market. That is the most bearish case scenario that I see that could potentially still turn out to be bullish. But it should not create a 4 and a 5. Once it creates a 4 and a 5 and it does this, I'm going to look for exit opportunities. Because when you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave to the downside, yeah, usually those retracements is where you look for exit opportunities. You don't want 5-wave structures to the downside. Thanks, Dewald. Absolute pleasure, man. BTC is going to go to 0. Every exchange will be running like a top, and we will all buy and back to 120K in a perfect world. Peter, Bitcoin going to 0. So we're finally going to close that CME gap at $9,000. Oh, that's something that I wanted to check out. Did we close the CME gap? Let's see, CME. Ooh, we did leave a nice little CME gap. Okay. Ooh, I can just imagine how people are going to go crazy about the CME gap. It's most probably all over social media at the moment. Guys, I do not care about CME gaps. Oh, by the way, this count that I did over here played out to perfection. I did this count a couple of, a while ago, and it actually played out to perfection. Because on the CME chart, the structure just looks beautiful to the downside. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. The CME chart actually looks stunning. Okay, you finish a 5-wave structure to the downside, and now you continue back to the upside. And this is why the question is now, is this a 1? And we're creating a 2 for an absolute disaster 3 to the downside. Okay, or can the bulls claim, the levels that we've identified? 0.88. Keep market structure intact. Just want to see something. Let's go here onto the 1 hour. It's basically these lows over here. So it's basically these lows. Okay, and the CME gap is between 113 and 100. It's basically your CME gap is basically, it's so misaligned, the charts, guys. It's so misaligned. 111 to 113. Okay, you have it at 111, basically over here. This is your CME. Okay, this is your CME gap. Yeah, I wouldn't, unless this is another one too. So from a bullish perspective, what I would like to see is this low. Okay, this is why my stop loss is at this low for my long position, because I don't want market structure to change, because this could still form another 1, 2. You have 1, 2, 1, 2. It could form another 1, 2 and continue, fill the CME gap, not take the low. You still have a higher low and you continue to the upside. So yeah, could still fill that CME gap. But I'm not paying attention to these CME gaps, guys. I don't trade CME gaps on Bitcoin. Okay, they either get filled or they don't get filled. I don't care. I usually have other levels that I'm keeping an eye on that usually corresponds with the CME gaps as well. Let's go, legends. Mr. Crypto Big Brain, smash up that like button. But on the Coinbase chart, we have 5-wave down and now 3-wave up. Isn't that the signal to scale out? Yes, but then I have to re-explain all the bullish case scenarios as well. Okay, you do have a 5-wave structure. Let me go back here. Okay, we do have a 5-wave structure to the downside on Coinbase. Phantom, yes, you're right. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, for now, it looks like we're forming a 3-wave structure here. So this could either now be a 1 and you're forming a 2 and you're going down for a 3 and a 4 and a 5. Okay, so this could get really, really nasty here to the downside. But when you consider, okay, a 3-wave structure to the upside, you cannot end something with a 3-wave structure. So regardless of how deep this potentially goes, you're still looking to claim this high. Or you have a 5-wave structure down in a C wave. Okay, now this is where I think the bulls could potentially have the upper hand, because when you look at this structure, okay, let's go to, yeah, the 4-hour structure is perfectly fine. If you have, okay, let's dissect this. If you have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, okay, that's your bullish structure to the upside. And now you have an A, a B, and a C. After an ABC, okay, you expect upwards momentum. If it's not going to be an ABC, well, then you label this a W, it creates an X, and you create a Y either in a triangle or in a flat, and you continue momentum to the upside. So it could still create a larger corrective structure, but you always have to consider an ABC first. Okay, now this is why I think a lot of people are getting bearish, is because a C wave has to have 5 waves to the downside. Okay, you have a 3-wave structure in a A, you have a 3-wave structure in a B, and your C wave has to have 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So that is a recipe for a correction that could be finished for this impulsive structure. A, B, C. Continuation back to the upside. Okay, so Mr. Phantom, yes. Okay, and this is why I've got a head short. So I did enter a short here, and if we tap the 0.786 and I get a reaction, I will enter a head short. I will definitely hedge my long, okay, with good risk management. But it has a chance for this to be the low, because you do have a 5-wave structure down in a C, which gives you an A, B, C done, and you continue to the upside. And because of this 3-wave structure to the upside, you increase the probabilities to take the high again. Unless you form a W, okay, ABC gives you a W, you create an X, and you come back. Depending on how high the X goes, we can then determine the probabilities, because you could have an X that goes deep, and then you have a Y wave, okay, that forms a triangle. Your correction ends over here, not taking this low, and we continue to the upside. This is potentially what's playing out on Ethereum. Ethereum formed a WXY with a Y in a triangle for the moment. So, right, but I get your point. We have 5 waves to the downside. Okay, but there's also the probabilities and the CVD that I'm looking at as well, is that you cannot end something on a 3-wave structure. On most of the exchanges, we have a wick to the downside, which says it's a 3-wave structure to the downside. Okay, so it's very confusing at the moment. So all I can do is apply my trading strategy. We broke trend, I got in, had my stop below the low, started taking profits here at this high, also entered a short position, which is already protected. Okay, so I'm just trading level to level. If we fall, I make money from the short. If we pump, I make money from the long. That's how I trade. Okay, it's so I actually don't care which way it wants to go. I actually don't care, as long as I get volatility. I hope that answers your question. Okay. But now this could also be an A. Okay, you could also get an A. This is now the worst case scenario that I've discussed, okay? Because you might now say, okay, well, on Coinbase, we got a 5-wave structure. But on all other exchanges, we got a 3-wave structure. Now, what the hell? Okay, then I'll label it as an A, because an A wave is allowed to be a 3 and a 5-wave structure. It can be either or. It doesn't have to be a 3 or a 5. It can be both. Okay, so if this forms a B, worst case scenario, we could go down in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That then becomes your C. Okay, so you basically form an A, B, C, and you continue back to the upside. So this for now is the worst case scenario that I see at the moment. If price forms a larger 4 and a 5, well, that retracement, it will be my exit strategy. But I don't have, what's the right word? Price has not given me enough confirmation to exit all my bags. There's not enough information. I acknowledge the 5-wave structure, but I acknowledge that it can be a C. And you cannot end something on a 3-wave structure. The probabilities to take that high is still higher than starting a bear market. I'm not, because I know that we could still go down lower and then continue. So for me, this will just be an opportunity for now. I didn't zoom out. Thank you, Dewald. Phantom, absolute pleasure, man. Yes, sometimes you have to zoom out. Okay, because I can tell you now, I think this 5-wave structure is scaring a lot of people. Oh God, we have a 5-wave structure to the downside. We now have a 3-wave structure that looks like a 3-wave structure to the upside. Guys, short. No wonder we have so much bullish CVD building up against each dip, because everyone is seeing this as a 5-wave structure, 3-wave retracement, and we're absolutely going to dump to the downside. Not realizing that a C wave inside of a larger correction has to end on 5 waves to the downside, of which it then forms impulsive structures to take the high. So yeah, I don't have enough information for me to just exit at the moment. I'm still giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt, and right, because of many things. 3-wave structure up, the ending diagonal that I've shown everyone that has a lot of mistakes inside of it. Okay, so let's see how this plays out. Right, XRP went into long. Okay, I haven't looked at XRP in a while. Okay, right, legends, I've unfortunately run out of time. Just remember, if you'd like to come and trade with me or join the Legends Pro community, link is down in the description. Remember, guys, BTCC, if you want to trade commodities like gold and silver as well, because gold is an absolute dream to trade at the moment, you have the link down in the description. All you need is an email and a password. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day. Until tomorrow. Cheers for now.